Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Moments. Lately, the fandom world has once again been shaken by something all too familiar: rumors. Rumors that are deliberately twisted, edited, even created from scratch just to cover up a truth that is actually crystal clear. And this time, the target is the relationship between Jimin and Jungkook, two names that, for many of us, have long been a symbol of intimacy, loyalty, and real love. But here's one thing you need to know: the harder people try to hide the light, the brighter that light shines. Some Taekook fans seem obsessed with discrediting Jikook's loving moments. They spread false narratives in every possible way, as if trying to convince the world that what we see with our own eyes is nothing but an illusion. Ironically, the more they try to cover up the light, the brighter it shines. They don't hesitate to manipulate edits, use altered video clips, or even exploit AI-based technology to create stories that seem real. But when we look deeper, we see that those claims are fragile, like a house built on sand. One of the most absurd accusations is that Jimin supposedly had an important ex in his life, someone who allegedly violated his privacy. Yet that story has never had proof. No photos, no records, no logic. It's nothing but a fantasy forced to look real, once again, a lie polished by technology to cover up an empty void. And even though it makes no sense, they keep repeating it like a mantra. Their hope is obvious: the more often it's repeated, the more people will believe it. But the truth remains: it's still nothing but baseless lies. What they don't realize is that while they're busy creating noise with rumors, the bond between Jimin and Jungkook only grows stronger. They can create 1,000 false narratives, but they cannot erase what is truly real: the gestures, the gazes, the smiles, and the love that lives between these two. One of the most painful blows for those who try to discredit Jikook was Jungkook's decision to enlist in the military together with Jimin. For many, this was more than just coincidence. It was a statement. Military service is one of the toughest phases in an idol's life. Not everyone has the courage or willingness to take such a big step alongside someone else. But Jungkook did it, without hesitation, without compromise. He chose to accompany Jimin in that crucial time. And that choice was proof of loyalty. For Taekook fans, that decision was a direct hit. Because how could they deny such closeness? It wasn't a theory, not an interpretation, not an edit. It was a clear, undeniable reality. And that wasn't all. During their time together, Jimin and Jungkook launched a special program titled, "Are You Sure?" On the surface, it seemed lighthearted and playful. But for those paying close attention, the show was an open love confession. There, Jimin and Jungkook casually said they planned to continue the program until they turned 50. A simple sentence, yet full of meaning. It wasn't just a joke, it was a promise of the future. What made it even more special was how they appeared on the show: unfiltered, unmasked, unscripted. What we saw was simply them. Genuine, playful, supportive, and most importantly, allowing their love to shine openly in front of the camera. For observant viewers, Are You Sure was one of the clearest proofs that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship went far beyond ordinary friendship. There was warmth, consistency, transparency, and intimacy that simply couldn't be faked. And that's exactly why those who try to tear them down feel so uneasy. They see the real evidence, but instead of accepting it, they choose to attack. They create rumors, spread lies, and hope it will cover up reality. But there's one thing they can't fight: eyes never lie. The way Jimin looks at Jungkook, or the other way around, always carries something that cannot be hidden. There's intensity, a sense of belonging, in overflowing love. And no edit can ever fake that. For true Jikook fans, the proof is everywhere. On stage, Jimin and Jungkook don't just perform as co-workers. They open up their deepest selves, allowing themselves to be transparent, free, and authentic. It's often the little moments that carry the most meaning: a gaze that lingers too long, a small smile reserved only for one person, or even a playful kiss thrown discreetly. Those aren't just choreography or habits. They are confessions. When we watch Jikook, we don't just feel butterflies, we feel a whole universe stirring inside. Their intensity pierces through the screen, burning the hearts of anyone who witnesses it. Their gazes are like two flames feeding each other. Even their pupils seem to seek and devour one another. Every glance is a breath. Every smile is an embrace. Every touch is a promise. And in front of thousands, even when they try to appear composed, the truth always slips through. Nothing can hide it. Now imagine them when they're truly alone. No cameras, no audience, just the two of them. If their public moments are already so touching, how must their love feel in silence, without limits, without barriers? Jikook's love isn't one that needs to be shouted to be real. It lives in shared smiles, in gazes that speak without words, in an invisible thread that ties them together. We often ask ourselves, is this just interpretation? Are we reading too much into things? But every time that doubt creeps in, Jimin and Jungkook always bring forth new evidence that cannot be denied. They show us that their bond isn't just a performance. It's something real, consistent, and solid. Born from years of being together, from learning to understand one another, from a long journey taken side by side. Every gaze, every touch, every spontaneous reaction is a fragment of the bigger story they are building together. A story that cannot be broken by rumors, cannot be destroyed by hate, and cannot be erased by lies. And in the end, all the lies others create are nothing but shadows. While what's real, the smiles, the love, the loyalty, and the togetherness of Jimin and Jungkook will always shine bright. They are not just partners on stage, but two souls who found each other. And that's what makes us, their fans, never stop longing for them. Their smiles, their voices, their gazes, their love. Because we know, no matter how many lies try to cover it up, true love can never be faked. And in the end, all the rumors, manipulations, and lies are just shadows that time will eventually erase. What will always remain is what is truly real: the gazes, the smiles, and the love between Jimin and Jungkook. We all know, true love doesn't need to scream to be recognized. It lives in the little details, in the moments that can only be felt, not fabricated. Thank you for watching Jikook Moments today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss more exciting discussions about Jimin and Jungkook. See you in the next video, and remember, Jikook remains Jikook.